Hello everyone, and welcome to Hades, a roguelike game about an e-boy demigod attempting to get out of town. The thing is, town is hell, a place pretty notorious for imprisoning people. His father, the King of Hell, is in violent opposition to this quest, so he's gonna have to convince him the old-fashioned way, by beating the tar out of him. You play as Zagreus, son of Hades. Your objective is to escape Hell. Unfortunately for you, Hell is alive. It's always shifting, changing, making you lose your way in its endless hallways. Like an IKEA. The climb will be difficult. Your father, his hired muscle, and the family dog will try their hardest to stop you, but luckily you're not alone. Your friends in Hell and relatives on Olympus are with you every step of the way. Depending on your choices, your journey could be simple or impossible. Will Zagreus escape, or will he submit to the hopelessness of his situation? The answer to that question lies in your currently incapable hands. Before I start, I just want to apologize for my $200 Xbox controller drifting like an RX-7 in a Eurobeat music video. If it ever seems like my mental facilities aren't functioning properly during gameplay, the drift is probably to blame. Anyways, when you inevitably die your first death because you're bad and should feel bad, the river Styx pulls you along back to your doorstep. Death in Hades means your boons, weapon enhancements, and coins are all washed away during your trip down the river. Everything else you pick up is permanent. Finders keepers. Your mom, Nyx, helps your trek to the surface by telling the Olympians that Hades has a son. He wants out, and he needs help. They agree, much to the displeasure of your father, which can lead to some thrilling domestic dispute gameplay. Achilles is also secretly helping, playing arms dealer by providing you with the weapons that you use in your expeditions. As you get closer to and eventually reach the surface, you discover, through bits and pieces of dialogue, the truth about your father's reluctance to let you go and your upbringing. The story unfolds through amazing voice-acted dialogue after the completion of different milestones in-game.
Come on, Meg. Haven't we had more than enough of each other by now? Besides, don't you have someplace else to be?
Your father sent me. All in all, I'd rather be on your bad side than his.
For example, the first time you lose to the boss Megara, NPCs around the house will have new voice dialogue that is about you losing the fight. Essentially, the further you explore, the more story you get. In order to get the true ending and officially finish the game, you're gonna have to show the King of Hell who the real daddy is and beat the game 10 times. You can use the same weapon if you want. But before you can beat him, you're gonna have to farm out some darkness with the weapons Achilles smuggled in for you. Since Twitter isn't a thing down here, you've gotta look for it in the dungeons. The darkness you collect can be used at your bedroom mirror to make you stronger. In terms of weapons, your choices include Old Reliable, Pointy Stick,
Oh my god, that is so cool.
Riot Shield, Best Girl's Bow, Copyright Violation, and a gun.
Your pieces.
My gun.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah!
Wow.
Bah! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed.
Each weapon has a normal combo, a special move, and a dash strike. These weapons begin the run very weak, but with the right boons, will evolve to absolutely annihilate anything you come across, like a lawnmower over a dense fall yard. You also have a cast, which is a gem you throw that sticks in enemies for a short duration. When it eventually falls off or you miss, you've got to hunt it down and hope it didn't land outside the map. It's kind of like attacking your enemies with gigantic heat-seeking ticks. With a specific mirror upgrade, the ticks can also come with Lyme disease, making enemies they're stuck in more susceptible to damage. There are a truckload of items that can permanently or temporarily increase your power, and I'm not going to sit here and give a comprehensive lecture on everything because you definitely fall asleep, so... Just kidding, we're gonna go through all of them. Boons are gifts from the Olympian gods that strengthen you with powerful abilities. Boons vary in rarity from common to rare, to epic, to heroic, and finally to legendary, which requires that you possess certain boons before they appear. Generally speaking, the rarer a boon, the stronger it is. Each and every boon is directly linked to one of 10 gods. Aphrodite is all about putting your enemies forcibly under the influence. She focuses on survivability with her weak status effect, which reduces the damage enemies deal to you. She also can give the ability to charm foes, forcing them to fight for you like a gimp off 2 5-hour energies. Just keep in mind that the charm doesn't last forever. Just like love. Ares' motto is probably, just keep hitting them till they stop moving. True to his word, Ares focuses exclusively on giving your hits a kick of spice. He grants a status effect called Doom, which is applied on hit. It creates a dagger that floats above your target for a short duration before falling and dealing a little bit of damage. You can also turn your casts into Beyblades, which is fucking sick. Artemis is aforementioned best girl who solely focuses on weapon critical hit rate and overall improving your accuracy. Critical hits triple your damage and are, frankly speaking, insane. If you plan well, Artemis boons can create some absolutely ridiculous combinations. This statement is true across every weapon, meaning her boons are amazing in nearly every weapon damage focused build. She'd be perfect if she'd stop trying to kill me. Athena is entirely focused on protecting you from or mitigating damage. She also lets you roleplay as Meliodas by deflecting attacks back to their sender. I'm not gonna lie, I love deflecting. When I say you can deflect anything, I mean anything, unless it's a rock falling on your head. She also has some regular damage resist boons if that's more your speed though. Build exclusively Athena to become the demigod equivalent of a panzer tank. Dionysus is all about partying, living large, and giving people food poisoning. His focus is on inflicting enemies with a debuff called Hangover. This deals a small amount of damage every half second and can be stacked up to 5 times on a single enemy for greater effect. You can also turn your cast into purple mustard gas. War crimes aside, it's pretty good at dealing with packs of enemies and relatively stationary bosses. He's even willing to pass you some of that illegal stuff under the table. What a cool guy. Hermes is focused exclusively on doing things faster. Attack faster, cast faster, run faster, fast faster. You get the idea. If you want to move like a Fortnite kid on 100 milligrams of Adderall, Hermes is your guy. The downside is that his strongest ability for certain builds can be entirely useless on others, but his selection is varied enough that it probably won't affect you. He also owns a designer fashion brand, which is pretty cool, I guess. I respect the hustle. Poseidon turns the arenas of hell into gigantic pinball machines. His boons grant knockback effects to all of your attacks, which are most effective on adds. The other boons he offers that upgrade your knockback efficacy will turn you into an absolute room-clearing force of nature. The downside is that they're pretty weak against bosses without a specific boon, which can become an issue later on in your runs. You can also count on Poseidon hooking you up with the good stuff if his boons aren't appealing. Zeus is the big dog of Olympus. His boons focus on spreading the love to as many enemies as possible. Lightning is all about chain damage. Anytime you hit an enemy, a ball of lightning is going to ricochet to other enemies close by up to 5 times. Zeus's cast is fucking awesome. You can clear a room with one button press, and anything that isn't already atomized will have the gem stuck in them. Even without complementary boons, it's still really good, and I usually pick it up if my cast slot is empty. His downside is that the AoE on his lightning bolts is real small. And make sure you watch your mouth since he's really prone to striking people with lightning who talk shit. Demeter is a granny who's unlocked after you reach the final boss. She focuses on icing out your enemies, inflicting freeze, making them easier to deal with. She also has a boon that turns your cast into a turret. It's not bad per se, but I haven't really been able to make it work. I don't know, maybe I'm just garbage. Chaos is the beginning and the end of all things. Before the earth, before the sky and the sea, there was chaos. Now he just camps out in this fancy little manhole. If you want his assistance, you first have to sacrifice some of your health after you clear out the room's enemies. Chaos is all about push and pull. He'll enforce a harsh rule on you for a few chambers, and if you can play around it, you get a fat bonus to one of your stats. You do actually have to be careful when it comes to greeting chaos boons. I had a run that was going awesome, so I decided to jump the shark and take a hard one. Unfortunately, I ended up in the boss arena with the debuff active, and unsurprisingly, without my normal attack, I got rolled and smoked. He's also, kind of a dick. As you keep playing, you might eventually trip over a duo boon. Duo boons are like normal boons after a training montage. These units require you to have 2 specific boons from different gods before they appear. They are unique and incredibly powerful. They certainly won't win the game for you, but they will get you pretty damn close. Your speedrun through the underworld will be slowed by all manner of fiends and foes eager for the opportunity to rip your throat out. Some enemies you will encounter include Rattle Me Bones, Rock Simulator, The Blue Man Group, Scary Edition, Bootleg Wizrobe,
Where the rats?
Death Grip, Singular, Leg Day Skipper,
Aimed the laser on the chopper on 2 different nights. We have the tiny light clear in this FAA video.
Entire Gym Skipper, Skull Launderer,
Jesus, take the wheel.
and many more, although most of the rest of them are just skeletons. When you clear a room, you will gain access to the item advertised on the front door. These items can be darkness, boons, keys, nectar, gemstones, a centaur heart, a palm of power, or a Daedalus hammer. Darkness is a currency that you use to upgrade perks at your bedroom mirror. Keys are used to unlock new weapons in the courtyard and to expand the section of upgradable perks at your mirror. Nectar is used to increase affinity with the different NPCs across the game. When you give an NPC nectar for the first time, they will often give you an artifact. Artifacts are items that add a variety of helpful bonuses. These range from pretty good to disgustingly broken, and you're free to swap them in the courtyard. You upgrade these by simply clearing rooms with them equipped, up to a max level 3, which makes the effect stronger. Centaur Heart is simple. Permanent plus 25 HP, sourced from locally farm-grown centaurs. The Palm of Power levels up a boon of your choice. It will select 3 from your inventory at random, and you pick one. The hammer is like a boon for your weapon. These are very strong and a good start to the run. If you encounter a brown sack, my condolences, or you've stumbled upon a door that will take you to Charon's shop, where you can blow your life savings on things like boons, health items, and permanent currencies. It's kind of like going to a summer farmer's market at noon in the Midwest. These gray orbs with a white exclamation point indicate an NPC unique to that area who will give you special boosts. You should always take these doors. There's never a time where their items are useless, and they can turn a losing battle into a victory with zero effort on your part. You just gotta find them, dude. After ripping and tearing your way through a bunch of random, sometimes armored demons, you will find yourself standing before a door with a skull on it. When you enter this room, you will fight a mini-boss. Each area has its own squad of mini-bosses that are chosen at random when you enter a room. These are beefy boys who have significant armor over their HP bar. Their chambers behave the same as normal rooms, they're just much more difficult. As always, take out the trash and you get the drop advertised on the door. If you see a boss door with darkness or one of these special items on it, that means it's time to strap up your suspenders because you're going to be fighting a real boss. These incredibly powerful beings guard the stairs to the next area and are the toughest enemies to defeat. In order, you will face Megara, Tisiphone, or Alecto, one of many Lernies, Theseus and Asterius, Cerberus, kinda, and finally, the big man himself, Hades. Odds are you're gonna die if you walk into a boss room without some kind of plan because these guys hit like a school bus full of bodybuilders. Like bosses in Souls games, you are expected to die as part of the learning process, so don't be discouraged if you lose once, or twice, or 30 times. When you do eventually defeat them for the first time, they will drop valuable items that make your arsenal and parasocial relationships with NPCs stronger. The first boss drops Titan Blood, an item used to unleash your weapon's true potential and unlock their other aspects. The second boss will drop a diamond, which is a special item that unlocks upgrades through the house contractor. The third boss drops Ambrosia, a relationship item that is used to increase your affinity with the NPCs around the house after you have done favors for them. It's also used to upgrade companions, a special summon available after raising your affinity with certain NPCs. These companions have many different helpful skills, but take a long time to unlock. Make sure you're gifting nectar to NPCs whenever you see them to save you the agony that I put myself through by hoarding. And finally, your last encounter with the man himself, Hades, drops another Titan Blood. A normal run will look like this. Climb out of the sticks, upgrade skills at your mirror, grab a weapon and artifact in the courtyard, start your run, grab your first upgrade, clear the room, and choose a path. Rinse and repeat until you've reached the Furies. Steamroller and scuttle up the stairs to the next level where you will continue clearing rooms. Fight Lernie. Climb. Clear rooms. Fight the furries. Climb. Find resident good boy Cerberus a snack by exploring the 5 doors to your left. Feed Cerberus. Defeat Hades. Uncover more story. Get washed away by the Styx, and do it all over again. It might sound repetitive, but each one of those steps is interchangeable in some way for each escape you attempt. Enemies are never the same, rooms constantly shift, bosses change styles, excluding Hades, etc. Even if you're only set on using one weapon, you still have a ridiculous amount of choices to make. After your first escape, Hades forces the Pact of Punishment upon you, meaning the Modifiers list has been unlocked. Since you can't earn boss drops twice for the same weapon, the game provides challenges which add heat. Each level of heat has its own set of boss drops per weapon. You can add as many as you want. If the heat's too much and you have to get out of the kitchen, you can give up and lower your heat with the same initial setup of boons. If you only defeat 3 bosses and perish to Hades, the stuff you've already earned is replaced with a fat stack of darkness. As a side note, there's an item called Anvil of Fates that Charon will sometimes sell at his final shop next to Cerberus. This item will remove one of your Daedalus Hammer weapon enchantments and add 2 more at complete random. It's good if you don't like your setup and want to chance it with another set of options. It can be really good or really bad, it's just a situational type deal. Other random stuff. Fishing.
It's in the game.
Cast your rod at these shiny spots to dredge up some horrific creatures of the deep. Give them to the head chef for a payout of permanent currency. The rarer the fish, the higher the payout. Treasure troves are Hades' special box of rocks, darkness, and perishable food that you have the option of stealing. If you decide to pinch a stash, you're going to have to clear a new wave of enemies as fast as possible as your reward decays. The faster you clear, the more you get. Sometimes, if Hades gets really pissed, he'll spawn enemies constantly for 45 seconds straight when you enter a room. If you can survive until the end of the timer, all of the enemies despawn and you win the encounter. Finally, Thanatos. He's your scene kid homie who challenges you to a kill-off. If you win, you get a free 25 extra max HP. If he wins, he disses you and fucks off. Dickhead. Hades is a fantastic game. The story it tells is multifaceted and interesting, and it's very satisfying to learn more each time you escape. I personally think that the greatest part of the game as a roguelike is that your progression isn't solely tied to Zagreus. The further you get, the stronger your bond with the NPCs gets, and the more pimped the house gets as you buy upgrades through the house contractor. New areas of the house also unlock the further you progress in the story. My personal progression is easy for me to see when comparing the house before and after only about 35 hours of gameplay. This isn't even close to complete either. There are still a lot of things for me to buy and story for me to uncover. I honestly don't have much criticism for the game. I will say that I wish it kinda nudged me onto an optional path of progression I could follow if I got lost at any point in all the stuff. It would also be nice to have a toggle that would show my current stats for a run, like crit rate or Boons specific timers and cooldowns, because I'm a fucking nerd and I like seeing that kind of thing. There's nothing else really. The game was clearly extensively quality checked before release, and it shows. I think the best way to describe Hades is wide as a lake, deep as an ocean. The world you explore is admittedly a bit small, but every single part of that small world is dense and fleshed out. All of its small spinning gears work together to create a unique experience difficult to find anywhere else. I've logged a fair few hours into Hades so far, and will certainly be putting in many more. Hades is a warm beacon in the barren desert of game development, and is a reassuring reminder that games as a unique storytelling medium are not dead. Fortunately, Hades did end up getting the recognition it deserves, and rightfully so. If you're on the fence about the purchase, I would hold until the game goes on sale. That's what I did. If you're sold, then you should absolutely buy it on consoles or through Steam. Alternatively, you could try it on a friend's account. Stay tuned for more review content on the way very soon. Stay healthy, people, and have a good one.